Wendy Olson, there's a lot of concern about refugees coming to this country and maybe becoming lone wolves and terrorists and whatnot. And you've written a guest opinion for us, and we've had a lot of debate about this, but aren't there a lot of other categories of people that we should be concerned about?
Yeah, well, I think there are. I mean, if we focus solely on the refugee community, then we're not really looking for a solution to the problem we have, which is violence that is a result of extremist ideology, whatever form that extremist ideology takes. And I think we've seen in this country's history that there may be people who are inspired by strong anti-government feelings, by white supremacist feelings, extreme animal rights groups, and of course the traditional terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Any of those ideologies might inspire a person who has been in this country their whole life, who's been in the country 10 years, or has come into the country some other way to engage in acts of terrorism. So I think focusing solely on the refugee community, that's really taken our eye off the ball and what we ought to really be looking at.
That's one of the harder ways to get into this country, and there were much easier ways, such as the visa system.
Exactly. I mean, with the refugee system, I mean, no system of vetting individuals is going to be perfect. People who want to hide their intentions are going to be able to do that in certain circumstances. And so we can have the most thorough vetting that we can possibly have, especially for people who come from a place where people don't have long-term homes. And so that's a challenge. But we really, I think, need to be, from a law enforcement perspective and from a national security perspective, certainly from within in Idaho, want to be focusing on activity that's occurring within our state and keep our eyes and ears open for what we see around us, and not just focus on those who are recently arrived or will be arriving soon.
And if our concern is ISIS, there are probably already people here who are susceptible to that kind of recruitment.
Right. I think that's what we've seen from ISIS, is they have taken a new approach to exporting terrorism into the United States, and they're not necessarily sending people here. They are sending messages here to people who are already here, contacting them through social media. They're very social media savvy, contacting them over the internet and trying to see who will bite, who seems receptive to these overtures, and then communicating with them offline in encrypted forums about the kinds of acts that they can do and spread pretty quickly without a lot of planning. And that's really one of the concerns that we have, keeping our eyes and ears open for those individuals who may have received messages or who may be receptive to that. And that really is incumbent not just on law enforcement, but on all members of the community to be aware of people who may have suddenly changed their appearance, suddenly started talking about blowing things up or trying to acquire bomb-making materials. And that's something that we can all do to keep our community safer, is keep our eyes and ears open for those sorts of things.
Thank you very much.